I knew that there was going to be a storm that night. I've never really been afraid to drive in storms. I'm pretty good with them. I'm very fascinated by lightning and thunder. I was getting on the interstate and I called Mom, and I didn't want to go home at that time, and I was like, I could use this storm as an excuse of, oh no, I can't come home right now, it's dangerous. As I turned onto Highway 46, that's when it got like really bad. It progressively got worse to the point where it was actually blind driving at a point. I could not see anything. I couldn't see the road. I couldn't see any of the lines. I started to see this like little white line, and then by the time I realized it's on the road, and it was big and I was not gonna drive over it, I was like, I'm gonna hit this. So I slammed on the brakes and then I hit the wire, and it was just, oh my God, what did I do?
What's your emergency?
Hi, I'm stuck on a road with power lines in front of me.
Okay, where at?
County Road 3.
We didn't know how fast the storm was coming, and it came faster than we thought. We have Life 360 on our phones, where you can see whoever's in your family group. And so I was watching her, so I could see her progress, and she was slowing down, and I thought, oh dear. Pretty soon, like 20 minutes later, I guess it was, we got her call, and she was in hysterics, and I couldn't understand her.
I knew that they weren't going to be able to understand me, but I didn't know how to stop it because I was crying and screaming, and oh my gosh, I hit a power line, and Dad's in the background, don't move! Don't touch anything, don't do anything, don't move. And I was like, okay, I'm not gonna move.
When we learned that she had hit a power line, stay put. Don't do anything.
I received a page for a vehicle involved with downed power lines. So we proceeded down to 46 and over to County Road 3.
We get the idea that she's down on the corner, so then I go down there and, it's pouring down rain, you can't see squat. But the flashes of light give you those brief glimpses, and you're looking at all these towers, and quite a few of them are doing toe touches.
Those are large transmission lines with a lot of volts in them, and this could get bad fast. A lot of the misconception of a downed power line is exactly what the movies and visual effects tell us. The sparks and a lot of the noise and things like that. But a lot of times a power line is just laying on the roadway.
The fire chief, Rich Schock, wanted us to get clearance through our dispatch center to find out if that line was de-energized so we could get her out of the car.
Really, the first part of our response was to find out who that line belonged to and get in touch with their operations center.
When you're dealing with transmission companies, they're not local. It goes from western North Dakota all the way down to Duluth, I believe.
Cass County Electric's line was stretched really tight because their wires, when the tower fell, were pushing down on the Cass County Electric wires, and then the big wires were laying right across the roadway in front of the car.
You're dealing with 7,200 volts on our side. There was a 230,000 DC line, so there's a lot of energy. It's a serious situation to be in.
So I'm sitting here alone in the dark, and it's raining and storming, and being stuck alone in a car for like 3 or 4 hours. I was just bored out of my mind. I was so frustrated and driven by boredom that I was about to just like open it and just step out, but I was like, I care a little bit more about my life than that.
I think Mary did everything right. Don't touch anything and stay in the vehicle. Once you complete the circuit, then power can transfer through you to find a ground. 9 times out of 10, when the person becomes electrocuted, it's when they try and jump to safety because they complete that circuit.
We got word back from our control center that the line had been opened on both ends.
At this point, the firefighters are coming up, but I didn't even notice that. I'd been watching for hours, just sitting there watching them in the mirror. One of the firefighters opens the door. The weirdest thing is they didn't say anything when they first opened the door. And I just like stared at them because I wasn't sure what I was supposed to say. And they eventually go, "Oh, you can get out of the car now." And that was it. I just stepped out of the car.
We're not the huggiest family in the world, but she ran to me and she hugged for a long time, and I was like, okay. I was just grateful that she was alive.
It was really relieving and nice to know that, well, I didn't know it. Dad was still watching over me, and he was still there. While I'm praying to get out of this car and stuff, and I get out and I see him, and it's like, this person was here with me, and it was kind of like invisibly holding my hand while I was stuck there.
She was very happy, probably happier than I've ever seen her, to be home and see her parents.
I feel like that energy and that fritz of this could be the end, it helps you appreciate everything so much more. Now I drive slower and more cautious, especially during the dark, and I appreciate my friends and my parents more. Having that kind of death-defying moment, it gets to the core of you. It gets to your heart real quick.